Shalom, Kol Halal Yahweh Shemil Shabbat Hashem Kodash, double homage to the other apostles and all the bishops of GMS, including the others that came before them that taught us the truth. Shalom and salutation to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yeshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutation to you as well. A quick, just a little quick update from the voice of reason. I'm going to start at 2nd Ezra 6 and 24. At that time, what time? This time, shall friends fight. Okay? At one time, there used to be something called the Soviet Union. All right? All those people were on one accord, especially Ukraine and Russia. Of course, you got a little infighting there, but a lot of Russians live in the Ukraine. A lot. Okay, and vice versa. All right, they're all one people, really. At that time, shall friends fight one against another like enemies? We're watching that right now. Okay, in the Donbass. What's going on in the Donbass, if you really knew? It's a bunch of like-minded people. They're all the same people. Bunch of Russian-speaking Ukrainians, right? But they're fighting. Have been going back to 08, right? They pulled weapons out in 2012, 2014, and here we are today. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so let's watch this. Let's let this guy break it down. Okay. So Military and Foreign Affairs Network 45 minutes ago. Battlefield, Ukraine, F-16s, and the Crimea. The voice of reason.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing daily coverage of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Making headlines today, it would appear that the Croatian government is getting a lot of heat. That heat is coming from Ukraine, obviously, because Croatia is basically regurgitating what the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is saying behind closed doors, that the likelihood that the Ukrainian military would be able to retake the Crimean Peninsula. Now, that is a stated goal by Zelensky, the current Ukrainian president.
And if they try to do that, all hell is going to break loose from Russia. They're going to throw what they got out there. And they got a lot in reserve. They try to go into Crimea and take it back, so they say. All right. Because Russia annexed, if you will, Crimea in like 2014. They went down there and took it because they knew it was coming. So now they're going to try to take it back. All hell is going to break loose.
As is other leading figures inside of Ukraine as well. Again, continuing to talk about the prospects of launching a large-scale military offensive, eventually cutting the land corridor to Crimea, seizing control of Melitopol, conducting a forced crossing of the Dnieper River, while conducting major armored offensive operations south of Zaporizhia, then massing forces just north of the Crimean Peninsula and crossing via two very narrow choke points, moving into the Crimea, engaging and defeating Russian forces, and seizing control of the Crimean Peninsula.
First of all, that cannot happen with Ukraine alone. I mean, Russia is as strong as the United States. So for that to happen, that's going to take NATO, it's going to take the EU, it's going to take a whole lot of other forces fighting on the side of the Ukraine. What does that mean? World War III.
All right, let's be realistic here.
Ha! There it is.
The likelihood that that is going to happen is incredibly, incredibly small. It would be more likely and very, very plausible that if the Ukrainians were able to make that kind of move, and obviously they would be then fully supported by Western allies.
Here it is. I haven't watched this. It's just common sense, all right? Russia is playing pity pat right now, okay? Last thing they want to do is start exploding micro nukes, tactical nukes, right in their own homeland. Okay, they don't want to. But if they have to, if they're left without a choice, then it's on and cracking.
In European countries and the United States, then all probability we would then be in a third world war.
Boom. I could stop it right here. As soon as that word third world war comes out, I could stop it. Not just me. Why are the men of the Lord saying that? Because it clearly says that in the scriptures. It's going to happen. There ain't no if. Okay? It's just a matter of how and when. And he's explaining right now how and when.
So again, a Ukrainian seizure of the Crimean Peninsula, a successful military campaign, in all probability would bring about a third world war and
nukes.
Quite possibly the release of battlefield nuclear weapons.
There it is.
So again, the likelihood that the Ukrainians would mount such a successful endeavor is ludicrous at this point. And because the Croatian government, persons in the Croatian government, stated that, they're getting a lot of heat. And that's concerning because as a nation state, Croatia, they have that right to analytically look at something that is happening in Eastern Europe, analyze what is happening, take other information that they are also getting, and then make a statement. And that statement that the Croatian government made about the unlikelihood that the Ukrainians are going to retake the Crimean Peninsula is, yes, it's probably ludicrous. Not going to happen. Do the Ukrainians have a right to the Crimean Peninsula? Now, that could be argued. And that could be argued by both sides. But I could tell you that prior to Khrushchev handing over the Crimean Peninsula to what was then essentially part of the Soviet Union, so it really didn't matter at the time that it happened, there was no separation of states. There was no Russian Federation and Ukraine. Again, they were unified under the Soviet Union. So it didn't matter. But upon the collapse of the Soviet Union and pressure from the West and just a complete lack of funding and chaos that was going on, this occurred.
He pretty much said what I said about at one time they were all together. Then shall friends fight one against another. We're watching it right now. Let's listen to that again. He said that at one point they were at one. Because they are one. Okay? Right here. Okay? Especially there. They're the same people. Okay. But now, and this is what Babylon the Great America does. Okay. Let's say this is North Korea, and let's say this is South Korea. What is it? They're a bunch of Koreans. Somebody came in and said, "Hey, break away. We'll help you." Right? We'll help you turn against your own people. Who does that? Ain't no North Korea and South Korea. It's Korea. Why are they fighting each other? Okay. Does the United States have troops in what they call North Korea? No, they don't. They're in South Korea. Why? Why does the United States have troops in Korea? Same thing. All right. We're going to end it right here. Well, I want him to say it again, so listen close.
Prior to Khrushchev handing over the Crimean Peninsula to what was then essentially part of the Soviet Union, so it really didn't matter at the time that it happened. There was no separation of states.
There was no North Korea and South Korea. All right. It was all the Soviet Union.
There was no separation of states. There was no Russian Federation and Ukraine. Again, they were unified.
Boom. So who does that? Who's famous for going in, destabilizing the region, putting in puppet dictators, putting in actors and comedians, right? Who does that? Babylon the Great does that. Anyway, how do we get out of here? Where is this leading to? It's leading to World War III. He said it, not me. It's Revelation 11. We'll just go ahead and end it here today. And tomorrow we'll do Wars and Rumors of War. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. This third woe is talking about World War III. World War II has passed. World War I has passed. There's only going to be 3 woes. Damn. Let's lock it. Where is it? Go to 8. There's only 3 woes. If I could get to it. The devil's kicking against the pricks right now. Come on, devil. Let's lock it. He's not going to allow it. Anyway. Yeah, he's acting a damn fool. Let me see. Slovakia. Hey, we're gonna end it right here. I gotta refresh this whole thing. Yeah, it's not even moving. It probably wouldn't stop if I tried. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and close. We hope that the elect ratified you, brothers and few sisters, with that. Shalom.